So here we are, smiling for the camera because it's another episode of A Real Point of View. Welcome to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you with us and joining us again for another show of ours. Today we're going to talk about our best films, the films that we thought were the best that we had seen during this year of 2016. And you've got myself, Greg Morgan, who's the real movie guy. We've got Karen D, the movie maven. And we've got our fun and friendly friend, and critic at large, Steve C., who is the movie critic who doesn't pick a bad film.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey.
Oh, sorry. Oops, I forgot he was listening.
I was like, did you say that out loud?
I know.
Yeah. That's a real way to really end the year there, Greg. It's nice to know. That's how
Wow.
I'm feeling.
I know.
Well, you got to end the year with a bang.
Right.
But yeah. So we'll be talking about the movies that we thought were pretty good for this year, and maybe have a few other movies that are kind of our what do we call it? Our what's the term? Not secondary films. What is it? The films that didn't make our A list, we'll say. They're more like A minus.
Or a B.
Well, other good films that weren't our favorite film, but it was
just
films that we
awful.
think that you should be aware of, and we thought were pretty good also that came out this year. So, but before we do that, we've had a lot of tragedy every year, sadly. Someone from the movie industry leaves us and leaves a legacy of their films and or performances that we cherish. And just suddenly, over the last few days, just two notable mentions were Carrie Fisher passing of a heart attack, and then not long after her passing, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, passing too, kind of prompted us to make sure we just wanted to mention and keep in mind the different people that have graced our presence throughout the year, and just to keep them in our prayers, especially for the gifts that they've shared with us over time and throughout their careers. And we're just happy to have ever experienced the different performances and of their great works and their legacy, and hopes to continue to watch those films years to come. So I know Karen and Steve and I were talking about it just prior to the show, and we won't expound too long regarding it, but just wanted to say something of the different contributions that these two women have made. Karen, you were saying about the talent of Carrie Fisher and her mom, Debbie Reynolds, just a moment ago. What you just kind of, if you could briefly just kind of share with our viewers some of the things that you were talking to Steve about.
Oh, okay, sure. What I was saying was that, I mean, Debbie Reynolds was a giant in the business, in show business. I mean, a giant on stage, a giant in the movies, a giant in television. She, is incredibly talented. She could dance with the best people in the business, people like Gene Kelly, people like Donald O'Connor. She could sing extremely well. She could carry a lead, the box office lead of a movie. She's been nominated for awards. I don't know that she won that many, but she was certainly like among those frequently considered for a Tony or an Academy Award or an Emmy. She was awesome on Will and Grace as the mother of Deborah Messing. I mean, she was like everybody's worst nightmare as a mother, but she played it brilliantly. And the time of her prime in the 50s, she was managing multiple roles, a major career, wife, children, and all of these things she was managing at a time when women were generally relegated to just being housewives. She was a force to be reckoned with, and she showed that. And it's not that she always succeeded in everything she did. She didn't. I mean, she had heartbreak. She, had her husband leave her for her best friend. She, has gone through divorce. She's, lost and all of that. But the thing is that she picked herself up and kept right on going. I think, sadly, it was, the death of her daughter is just too much. I mean, when you're in your 80s, you don't expect to have to bury your daughter. That's the last thing you expect. And it just literally broke her heart. And Carrie Fisher, she is someone, I don't think she acquired quite the acclaim across different types of genres that her mother did. I mean, she wasn't as well known. She probably wasn't as well known on television, for example. You didn't see her that much on television. The movies, she was really well known for. She was really well known for Star Wars, and that was so iconic that almost eclipsed everything else she did. But she was also a force to be reckoned with in the business. She was a really terrific writer, and she wrote Postcards from the Edge. She had like a rapier, just incredibly sharp comic wit. And she probably could have been a comedian if she wanted to be, because she was that good. And something that probably isn't widely known is that at one point she was considered one of the best script doctors in the business. And a script doctor is somebody who often doesn't get credit. You hardly ever see their names attached to movies, but they're the people you call in when a movie's in trouble, especially when the script is in trouble and it needs major repair work to get it from the page or from somebody's, spec sheet or whatever onto the screen. And it's especially difficult to sometimes adapt books or plays to the big screen. And Carrie Fisher was well known within the industry for being able to do just that. She could get a project onto the screen. She could get it ready. And that takes an enormous amount of talent. It really does. And she will be missed, and it's just so sad that with the resurgence of Star Wars, with actually good treatments of Star Wars, in now with The Force Awakens that was released late last year, with Rogue One, and then I think she was actually able to finish the work that she was supposed to do for Episode 8, which is going to be released late next year. We'll see her, but she sadly will not be with us.
Any words that you have, Steve, to complete and bring this to a conclusion?
I don't have anything that can be as bold as Karen put out there, and really telling what these two women did for their industry, what they did for women out there, and being able to show them that they could take lead roles, and being just inspiration for up and coming women coming into Hollywood. The fact that they helped guide up and coming actresses in Hollywood, and Carrie Fisher did a lot, not just in Star Wars and the other movies that she was in, but making movies that some of us love today see the light of day because of her script writing.
Very good. Well, again, for anyone that's listening, just a sad continence, losing anyone at all, but losing two women who have made such an impact in film over time, in such a short period of time. It's just very, it just took me aback, I know that. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into the reason why we're here? Our movies for 2016. I know for myself, the movies that I picked may not necessarily be what other people would have picked. It was really,
Is that a warning?
yes, it is. It's a little bit, made me think, as I looked at a list of movies that I had seen, especially ones I had seen recently, but also throughout the year. And there were some movies that even I had mentioned to you guys, hey, you got to see this, or this is really good, or. But what was funny to me was when I sat down and was thinking about it, I thought, I've got these 3 movies and I'm kind of, going back and forth with. 2 of the films actually have the same actor involved in them. And then I thought, well, I ended up going with a film that has an actor in it who I've admired over time, and one of my favorite actors, and that's Robert De Niro. And I just decided to go with the old standard actor as opposed to a relatively young actor who starred in 2 other movies. So I'd like to talk about, real quickly, the 2 movies I decided not to pick. And ironically, both movies star Paul Rudd. And one of the movies, Paul Rudd actually did some screenwriting and some producing on. And, this was a really big year for superhero movies. In fact, probably the last 5 years have been humongous for superhero movies. Marvel and DC, who are pretty much the paramount, taking the bulk of any of the comic book movies brought to life. And in particular, one of Paul Rudd's movies that he stars in, he stars with Michael Douglas. And we did Kirk Douglas there in one of our previous shows. And so this movie is one of the Marvel Universe films, and that movie is Ant-Man. I thought Ant-Man was a really, really, really good movie, and I actually have seen it 3 times, and so that was a big one for me. The other movie that Paul Rudd was in was another movie that we actually mentioned on our show previously, on one of our episodes, and that was a movie that was endearing to me because of its selflessness, I thought, and just kind of I don't know, one of those films that I would normally not necessarily gravitate toward. Not really a movie that I thought was going to be even in my wheelhouse, we'll say. And that movie is The Fundamentals of Caring. So to me, those are really, really good movies, and I'm very surprised that Paul Rudd was going to be a part of those movies. But a very intricate part and a very good part. I thought those were 2 great roles for him. So those are the movies I didn't pick.
I said that's a touching tribute to movies that didn't get on the list.
I know, crazy, huh? But, you gotta live crazy. It's the end of the year. You gotta do something.
Yeah, let's party like it's 2016.
No, let's get this year over with.
Yes. That's party like it's 1999. I was thinking about Prince earlier today.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, let's not do that.
Let's go back to 99.
Yeah. When we thought nothing was we thought there was gonna be no 2000, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, no 2000 or flying cars. It was no 2000 or bust.
Well, my movie of the year, drum roll, please. I was thinking more sushi roll, but no. My movie for the year is going to be a big surprise. My movie is The Intern with Robert De Niro.
What? Say what?
Yes, The Intern.
That's your movie of the year?
That's my movie of the year. I told you it's going to be crazy.
I am shocked.
I am shocked.
I am too, because when I was looking at all the different films, I even thought John Wick was going to be in here. I even thought the accountant was going to be in here, because I'm
What
really
about
that
the Magnificent Seven?
I'm really that action kind of, thriller, puncher, guns a blazing, fists a flying, Holly, and yet the intern. I watched that movie and I really fell in love with that film. I've seen that 4 times.
Wow.
And the thing about it is it never gets old for me. And I've seen that, I mean, it's only a year, seeing it 4 times, and that's almost once a quarter. You don't see films that often. And yet I can't stop not watching this film. It tugged at my heartstrings, I guess we'll say. And it was just one of those films that made me feel very, pretty much every emotion. It had enough comedy in it to make it, kind of melodramatic. It had enough of the things that you hope people take with them in life. It made me feel good because here's a guy who's reinventing himself after turning 70 years old. Here's a guy who goes back into a situation, and you find out that he's actually been in this building most of his life, in this company's new offices for them, but old for him because this used to be where he used to work. It just is all these different things that happen throughout the film. They talk about infidelity, but they didn't do it. Didn't make it overbearing. It didn't make it, the total essence of the film. They talk about a new company starting a new startup company and all the things that it needs. And one of the things it needs is a mentor. I mean, it goes through all these different aspects of life, and they put it all together in this short film. And I really dug that, and I really appreciated it. And that's what made this movie so endearing to me. I think everybody should see this film at least once. So that's my movie of the year. I know it's crazy. It could have been John Wick. Could have been Ant-Man.
It could have been the Magnificent Seven.
And you know what? And that's funny you should say that, because my wife and I watched that last night. And for me, that's the second time I watched the Magnificent Seven, the new version. I've seen the old version probably about 10 gazillion times, but the new version is the second time for me watching it. And it was still good. But guess what? It didn't make my movie of the year.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Because
you're tough.
Well, Robert De Niro, a stellar actor in his own right, this movie was so good for him to me. And I think everybody should see The Intern, 2016.
I saw it. It was.
I might watch it when we're done with the show.
What did you say, Karen?
I said I saw it. I thought it was a very good movie too. I mean, it didn't even come close to making my list of movies of the year, but it was a good movie.
What did you say, Steve?
I might watch it after the show. I'll be quite honest.
Oh, cool. And what else did you say, Steve?
Oh no, I had nothing else beyond that. I'm not going to insult your list. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, good. And what else did you want to say, Steve?
Oh, is that your way of shutting me out for being too snarky? Sorry.
Snarky.
Well,
that seems so
I mean,
light.
evidently, her movie of the year has got to be just boom.
Boom. It's gonna have to be boom, because if it's not boom, she's gonna get boomed.
I know.
All
I'm
right.
going to be mocked.
Well, yes, and I think you should step up and deliver right now.
Well, fine. I have 3 movies of the year.
What?
Ooh.
Yes,
Oh, Greg, you don't write the rules for the show.
Oh,
Yeah, you really don't, even though you think you do. 3 movies of the year, because I just do, for different reasons. My movies are, in no particular order, Zootopia.
What?
Yes. Queen of Katwe.
What?
and Loving.
What?
Yes,
What?
those are my.
So one's a cartoon.
Right.
One's
Okay, you
a
say
girl
that
who
with
plays
such derision.
chess. One's a girl who plays chess,
Yes.
and one is a controversial film where diversity doesn't matter.
What's your point?
They're not the intern.
That's true. It's not. It's not. But yes,
Okay.
I have Zootopia because yes, it's a cartoon, but I love the way that the way that the intern pressed a lot of emotional buttons for you, Greg.
Yeah.
Zootopia did that for me because of the way in which it embraced themes like the strength of diversity. I love the fact that Zootopia had a female lead, and in cartoons, especially or in projects that require voice actors, it is still way too seldom, in my opinion, that a woman is the focus of the story, or that a female voice is the focus of the story, and that a female character is the lead. So Zootopia had that. And the bunny rabbit was just too freaking adorable. I'm sorry, it just was.
She was.
And she wanted to be a police person, and she was really scrappy and wouldn't, never gave up and all that. I love that. And I thought Jason Bateman was really good as like the fox who ended up being like her friend, I guess they ended up getting together. Foxes and rabbits can do that sort of thing, but
What in Zootopia they can.
This
right.
This is PG YouTube. Thank you.
It was a moment ago.
and then Idris Elba, who was like the I guess a water buffalo, but like the police captain, wildebeest. He was really cute too. So there were just so many cute moments in the movie, and just sort of embracing the idea that people can be anything that they want to be, sort of not unlike The Intern, actually, now that I think about it. And not unlike The Intern, and just, this notion that we all have something to offer, we all have gifts to bring, and part of the reason that we have a society is to help people bring those gifts forward. That's when society functions best. Right. So that's why I loved about Zootopia. I just thought it was awesome, and the animation itself was just really well done. I mean, I'm sure there was a great deal of computer animation that was involved, as well as and not non-computer animation, but the colors were brilliant. There were a lot of panoramic scenes that were just gorgeous, just from an artistic standpoint. So I love that about the movie too. So I thought it really did well. And it's been nominated for a Golden Globe, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it nominated for Best Animation for the Academy Awards.
Yeah, it was a great film.
It very well could win.
It very well could win. So that was movie one. So should I go on to my other two movies, or
of course?
Okay.
Of course.
Thanks, Steve.
I seconded it.
Oh, that's right, you did.
I need more time to reconsider my options over here.
Oh, that's right, you do. My other film was Queen of Katwe. This movie came out in the fall, and directed by Mira Nair, who is very good director in Indian. She's from India. And she did one of my all-time favorite movies. It's on my all-time favorites list, which is Mississippi Masala, a movie from the 1990s with Denzel Washington and Sanjeet Chaudhuri. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but anyway, just beautifully done film. And to me, Queen of Katwe was also beautifully done. Mira Nair has a really great way of bringing out the unique elements of cultures that we as Americans are not familiar with, and making them accessible to American or European audiences. And she I think she single-handedly has put Uganda on the map as far as like a place where stories happen. Because you don't, I mean, but for her, you don't think about Uganda as a place where stories happen, unless it's a story about Idi Amin. Um, you you don't think about that, but she does, and they're very deep ties between between India and Uganda. Some of them they're deep but painful, um, and she focuses this story about this young girl who's part of this. She's part of this family, and the family is struggling on a lot of levels. There's no father; the father's left, and the mother is trying to provide for her family, but it's really, really hard. They grow crops and then they sell them in the streets, but of course everybody's selling crops in the streets, so not that much money's coming in. And she has one daughter who just gets hooked up with like the wrong kind of man because she's desperate to just get out of this, poor situation. And her oldest daughter makes a lot of bad choices. And then there's, this young girl who finds out that she really likes chess. She just sort of stumbles upon a little chess club by accident, and she watches. And then like the mentor of the chess group is played by the, in my opinion, brilliant David Oyelowo, sort of, sees her and sort of says, hey, she's got some interest. Let me just see what I can spark. And at first she's mocked by the kids because she's poor. She doesn't have means to be clean, to stay clean, because there's no available hygiene. So they make fun of her because she smells and all this other stuff. But she wins them all over with her brilliance. She is just brilliant in terms of math and strategizing and seeing the moves on a chessboard. And this movie's based on a true story, which is the other thing I love about it. There actually is a Queen of Katwe. The young woman portrayed in this movie actually exists. She actually did win the Ugandan chess championship against all odds. She was the first female to ever win a chess championship in the history of Uganda. And she has gone on, she's graduated from college, and she's on her way. I think she's doing some sort of either computer career or engineering career or something like that. And so many of the kids who are in this chess club have gone on to really successful careers in Uganda or in Britain or wherever their travels have taken them. So I love this movie. There were just lovely visuals of what life is like, and it made me cry numerous times just watching it, because what gave so many of the kids in this movie joy are so many of the things that we take for granted. I mean, they would burst into song just over, I don't know, having food that they didn't have the day before. And we don't care about that because we expect food to be on the table. And, things could be lost in a blink of an eye. I mean, the family was basically squatting in this house, which was in a floodplain. So one day they came home and the whole house was flooded out. So they had no home. But we expect our homes to be here. We expect to eat. We expect our homes to be here. We expect to go to school. And for this girl, every single victory was so hard won. It was amazing to see what this young lady could do with so much less than what we in this country take for granted. So I love this movie.
That sounds good. I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to seeing it. And I'm a big fan of David Oyelowo.
Yes.
In fact, I rewatched The Help the other day and realized that he plays the minister in The Help,
right,
the church where the primary characters are
and
members. So good actor.
And let me not leave this movie without mentioning Lupita Nyong'o, who played the young girl's mother, and she was awesome in this movie too. I mean, she didn't have a huge role, sort of a medium role, but she owned every scene she was in, and you really couldn't take your eyes off of her. So I thought she was just wonderful, and the girl who played the actual chess champion was terrific too. I mean, the acting was just wonderful. Mira Nair, again, in my opinion, can really get some wonderful performances out of people, and she did in this movie.
Very cool. Well, what's number 3?
Number 3 is Loving, which came out in November. Joel Edgerton, who was in Exodus, Gods and Kings, incredibly forgettable movie, and and then Ruth Negga, British actress. Joel Edgerton is Australian, Ruth Negga is British, and that's the one annoying thing about this movie, because this movie is quintessentially American. It's about an American issue, and it takes and the story is germinated in quintessentially American soil. And why we can't get American actors to do this story, I will never ever understand. I'm sorry, I don't get it. You know, are there no American actors? Have they gone into hiding? What's going on here, people?
And yet I just mentioned David Oyelowo. Oops.
Yes. Duh, British.
He's Brit.
Yeah, because there are no American actors.
And you mentioned Idris Elba. He's a Brit.
I know. What can I tell you? It's crazy.
I guess me and Steve got to go out and get our acting chops started so we can be the American actors that you're searching for.
I'm looking for somebody.
The major lead roles, me and Steve, we get all of them.
I'm looking for somebody to do something here, because this is crazy. But anyway,
I got a face that was made for radio. I am ready.
Loving is based on a true story, again, much like Queen of Katwe. And I remember the story just like viscerally, just like
yeah, I remember it too.
Very, very deeply, because I remember I read every word I could read about this story. It's about this couple, Richard Loving and Mildred Loving, and they were brought up in the rural, like southern part of Virginia, kind of in the middle to the southern part of Virginia, in a rural area. They grew up together. They played together. They fell in love. They got pregnant, and then Richard Loving decided to do what most quote unquote honorable men do in those days, in the 1950s, which is get married. Here was the problem. He's white, she's black. Although she never, actually in truth, she never referred to herself as black. She considered herself Native American, but actually she was black. Anyway,
it was a way that people tried to hide from slavery back in the day. So
right.
That is really based on true fact.
Right.
They tried to hide from oppression and slavery that way.
Right. And there was a small chance that you might be treated a little bit better if you were actually an Indian, which is what the nomenclature for the day, as opposed to a Negro. So there was that too. But anyway, Virginia laws at the time, Virginia had what are called anti-miscegenation laws. And basically, it was against the law for a white person to marry anybody who was not white. And it was a felony, believe it or not, to do that. And you could be thrown in jail for 20 years, which is mind-boggling, but that's the way the law was. And most states in the country at the time that the Loving case sort of made its way through the courts had anti-miscegenation laws. So it was common for the intermixing of races to be considered illegal or prohibited or whatever. Anyway, Richard and Mildred Loving wanted to be married, but they were forced to leave Virginia and move to DC. But they didn't want to raise their children in DC, so they came back to Virginia, even though they were forbidden from being in Virginia. And they basically, you know, at one point they both spent, like, he spent a night in jail, she spent a week in jail because they were married. All of this stuff going on. And while they're dealing with the courts, the American Civil Liberties Union finds out about this case. And they're looking for a case to challenge these laws. And this case seems to be the perfect case, because they're like the perfect couple. You know, he loves her, she loves him, they have children, they're invested in Virginia, they're invested in having their family raised in Virginia. Why should they have to leave just because somebody doesn't like the way they look? That was ridiculous. So the ACLU took on their case at no charge. The case went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court in 1967 held unanimously that anti-miscegenation laws violated the Equal Protection Clause and were against the law of the land. So that was the true part of the story. What did I like about this movie? What I liked about, the one word that I would attach to this movie is restraint. Because the thing about movies is that they're larger than life. They deal with these larger than life stories, and larger than life people, or people are weird, or they're quirky, or they're, you know, they're really, you know, strongly this or strongly that, and all this other stuff. And also the point of movies is to entertain, right? So producers, writers, directors will find a way to entertain you through the telling of the story. Mm-hmm. The restraint comes with regard to Loving, in that the director of this movie chose not to give into any of that. He did not go out of his way to make an entertaining movie. He went out of his way to make a thoughtful, truthful movie about these people, and to honor them and what they did, not by making them entertaining, but by simply portraying them as they were. And as they are, it's not that entertaining. Richard Loving, Mildred Loving, they're not exciting people. He's not articulate. He's barely monosyllabic. She's more articulate than he is. He's not the most articulate person on God's green earth. He was just kind of, you know, he worked with his hands. That was it. She was more articulate than he was, but I mean, she's a country girl, you know, they went to high school. I don't even think he finished high school. She might have gone to high school, but that was it. These are not highly educated people. They didn't say, you know, listen, we've got to protest this. This is wrong. They never had that conversation.
No, it was never about that. It was about their life.
It was just about, it was about their life. And so I think the director of this movie deciding to focus on that, I think showed, I love that he did that, because the people spoke louder than the movie. It wasn't about making the movie. Right. Unlike Sully, which will never make my list of best movies, where unfortunately, oh God, who did Sully? Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. I'm shocked that Clint Eastwood went for this, but he went out of his way to entertain people by over dramatizing what happened in Sully and creating events that never ever happened. Although the actual true events were so amazing that they literally spoke for themselves. And he ended up lessening the movie by exaggerating things that never happened, or creating issues that never happened. The director of this movie, Loving, wisely chose not to do that. So that's why, and Joel Edgerton was, I thought, really good as Richard Loving. Ruth Negga was really good as Mildred Loving. There were a number of good people in this movie, and restraint. The they wanted the movie to be the movie about their lives, not their lives to be the movie. You know what, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
So
remember reading.
that's why.
I remember reading about the story and know a little bit about it as well. But the actress who played Mrs. Loving, I remember her from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as the villain, kind of semi-villain, we'll say, in that movie. So she's was an actress that was on my radar. So I haven't seen that one either, but looking forward to seeing the movie and see how it compares to the things that I read about the subject matter prior. Oh, sounds like three good choices to me, Karen. Oh my God, did I say that?
Yeah, she snuck it in there on you.
Oh my God, I said that.
Yes,
I'm gonna have to
and let me
look at
just.
myself.
Can I just say, when I keep talking about the director of the movie, the person who directed the movie is a man named Jeff Nichols, and he also wrote the movie. So
No.
Very good. I'm gonna have to look myself in the mirror.
Did I say
Did I
that?
say that? Oh
you
my
did.
God. I did. Oh my God.
And Jeff
Um,
Nichols is pretty young too. He's not even 40 yet.
Excuse me.
Jeff Nichols is pretty young. He's not even 40 yet. And he also did Mud and Midnight Special.
Midnight Special, yes.
Special was good.
Mud, yeah, it was okay.
Mud
Yeah.
was okay. Midnight Special was good.
Midnight Special was good.
Right.
Well, after all that, it's your turn, Steve.
Oh
Looking forward to it, buddy.
yeah. All right.
So what's going on?
I am gonna follow kind of what Greg did. I really have a top 5 movies for the year, but we're really basing only on 3, and the only 2 that I'm gonna mention that didn't make my top 3 was The Jungle Book.
That was a good movie.
It was a really good movie. It was an amazing adaptation. It was a more true adaptation of the book than the Disney movie.
Right.
And visually and aesthetically, it's just a very pleasing movie for people. Disney movie in the past who enjoyed the book, and to kind of leave it here for a new generation to pick up and love the story.
I agree.
The other one is Captain America: Civil War.
Good flick.
Captain America: Civil War. They did a really good job. They made sure that they didn't overdo it with this movie. With even though it's based on a comic book, comics, they go for extravagance for that entertaining factor and that over the topness. This movie did really keep it more low key, more focused on each character too, as much as it was a Captain America movie. They gave everybody a lot of screen time, and you could really see in the actors, they did a good job portraying their feelings in the movie.
It's a good
once again, Paul Rudd being in a movie that actually did really well.
So true.
So, kudos
I
to you,
love
Greg.
that movie.
My number 1, my favorite movie of the year. Karen couldn't understand why Greg didn't pick it, but it was for me. It was Magnificent Seven. That was my
Aw.
favorite movie of this year.
It did get some love.
It's amazing. It really builds like a good resurgence of Western movies that might and shows and that might make a comeback. Though it was over the top and it did cater to being very entertaining, but they did a good job really telling the story through the entertainment that they were doing. The ability for people, like, just from all facets, two people that were once upon a time enemies, fighting for the North and the South.
That's right.
Just different viewpoints of people coming together for a common goal, and that are to protect this village that just really doesn't have the innate ability to defend itself. And
Right.
they provide that little bit of edge that they may have, even though they're walking into basically a suicide mission.
Mm-hmm.
The actors did a really good job portraying each of their characters. They gave each of their characters life, not even though the Indian, the Comanche, did not have a lot of screen time, he still had a presence with every scene that he was in, and the little words that he did use made a lot of interest to the story. That's my number one movie for the year. It is really a fantastic homage to the original Magnificent Seven, to Samurai 7. We had that video earlier in the year. If you didn't catch it, anybody out there, please go back and watch it.
And, guys. We talked about that a lot. Even the Shane moment.
Yep. It's just all around. Everyone associated with it. Antoine Fuqua. Okay, it's just everybody around it should be proud of the movie that they made, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, please go see it.
Yep.
Yeah, and as I mentioned a moment ago, a little too earlier, my wife and I watched it yesterday, and although I had seen it before, it was good to see it again. And at the very end, the Shane moment, it's always Alan Ladd back in I guess it was the 50s, made a movie called Shane, where he's this fantastic gunfighter coming into town, and in the latter part of the film, because he had stayed with his family, and this young boy looked up to him like a mentor. And as he was leaving the farm, the little boy's running after him, Shane, Shane. Well, there's a Shane moment in Antoine Fuqua's version of the Magnificent Seven, as the remaining surviving members of the Seven are leaving the town. This little boy standing there. The little boy is actually is in the movie throughout the film.
Right.
It starts inside the church in the early part of the film, and then goes into another part where the father's trying to protect him, and then another part, his father almost gets killed in the belfry of the church, and he comes down and he hugs his son, and they escape out of the town. And then as things are coming to a close, we see this little boy again with his handkerchief tied around his neck, looking out, and he has that look in his eye like, what is the hero's name in this one?
Chisholm.
He's looking at Chisholm.
Sam Chisholm.
He's looking at Sam, and his almost in my mind is he's about to say Sam. You know, he did, thank God. But it's just that feel, that I think Antoine Fuqua was referencing a little Shane essence at the end of that film. But anyway, that's just me. But yeah, really good film. So you had mentioned 5, Steve. So what were the other 2 that you were hemming and hawing about?
Oh, do you want my? I didn't know. I figured you had more. I didn't know where we were going with this.
I've got more.
Of course you do.
I actually want to talk about a film, and I'm hoping that each of us can do this too, if you're up to it too. I want to talk about what I'm looking forward to in the coming year.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about my other 2 right now?
Sure.
Okay.
You have the stage.
The second movie on my list of movies that I thoroughly enjoyed this year is The Nice Guys.
Nice.
Have either of you seen it? Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling.
Well, in the first place, I would never see a movie with Russell Crowe as a nice guy.
Well, he's not really a nice. Let me tell you about this movie. He is not a nice person. He has moments where you can see the growing of the Grinch's heart through the movie. But he's just not a relatively nice person in this movie. And there's a reason behind it.
Business.
Yeah, he is business, but there's a reason behind it. He's had a past full of things, but they only really mention briefly, but they do a good job of showing why he is kind of just the angry person that he is. Ryan Gosling is a private eye that kind of takes advantage of people in their situations. He only takes cases where he knows he can make a lot of money really quick with doing really a light amount of work. And Russell Crowe's character is actually an enforcer. He's kind of a mercenary. People pay him to take care of their business, to put people in their place, things like that. And they both somehow get interconnected in this case that Gosling's trying to solve, and a person that Russell Crowe is trying to find, and everything gets tied together, and it's a conspiracy that goes to the upper parts of the automotive industry and the city of Los Angeles itself. And I don't want to say anything more that might ruin the movie. Ryan Gosling's child, the little girl that portrays the child in the movie, I don't know her name, but she is hilarious. She has a quick wit about her. All the punchlines seem to be like really on point. They don't seem like they seem very genuine when she said them. And for a young girl to be able to pull that off is very, very exciting for an actress's future. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good from beginning to end, and it's got moments of laughter throughout the whole movie. For a mystery and crime to have a mystery and crime drama, so to speak, to have that much laughter in it is just amazing.
Yeah, I started watching it, and I was just too tired to start watching it, and I hadn't gone back to it, so I'll go back to it.
It's very good. It's ridiculous, but it's very good.
Okay, this is good.
The third movie on the list is solely for entertainment. It is solely for me being a comic book fan. It's really a bringing to life of the character that it is. It's vulgar. It's funny. It's just a movie you don't take your kids to go see. But at me, when I was a kid, would have given anything to see this movie. The third movie on my list is Deadpool.
Now, it's funny
Ryan Reynolds.
because Deadpool was kind of like Russell Crowe.
Kind of.
At first.
Minus the fourth wall breaks and the weird unicorn moments. But yeah, basically.
He's a guy that people would hire prior to his situation. He was a guy that people would hire to be an enforcer, especially for people who are meek.
He did that. It's kind of a weird. As much as he didn't care about most people but himself and the job that he did, he really did take pride in taking care of innocent people. And even though he's certifiably insane, just period, the character throughout the movie, he's got a heart to him, and he's got a real caring side.
Ryan Reynolds did a good job.
He did it. It's kind of like Robert Downey Jr. Like people say Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Tony Stark for the Iron Man. Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. He is that character, the nonchalant of the situation, the remarks, the comments, the just over the topness of the character. He does such an amazing job bringing that to life. His ability to, when he looks at the camera, when he's breaking the fourth wall and talking to the people in the audience, his ability to make you feel like he's actually talking to you, singling you out as a person to say something to you. He just does. It's a phenomenal job. It's a phenomenal movie. Please, God, don't take your kids to go see it. Please, God, don't let your kids see it until they get to an age where they understand, everything that's going on. Yeah, 18, 21, depending on how smart they are.
Sounds like I'm not old enough to see this movie.
You know what? If you're not interested in seeing John Wick, you're definitely not interested in seeing this movie.
Because I think he kills 17 more people than John Wick.
Oh Lord!
Not only that, he kills 3 with 1 bullet.
Oh Lord!
Not only that, he cares less than John Wick.
Ooh. And
nice.
More so, John
Wick actually had some emotion.
Yeah, John Wick is a man of focus. Deadpool,
right.
Not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much.
I mean, he's a dead shot.
Yeah.
But focus, very little.
And he's a bit torturous. Like he really drives the point home of how much he doesn't like a single person in this movie that he's chasing after.
Yes. There's only one person.
One thing I do want to say about this movie, one comment, one real comment to finish up this movie. The entire time, he is looking for the person he is looking for. He says that person's real name to every single person he's trying to find, to every single person he hurts trying to find him. At no given point in time does he say the name that all of these people would know him by. That's how deranged this individual is.
Okay, you convinced me.
Deranged? That's a little light there, Steve.
You know what? You might be right, but I'm gonna turn this over to anyone else who would like to add
Well,
to their
just
list of movies.
last thing about Deadpool, I saw the previews of it, and I was thinking I wasn't going to watch it. Then someone mentioned to me they really had watched it twice, and I thought I'm still not going to watch this movie. And they said you got to see this film, and so I said okay. The first 2 minutes made me think I don't really want to watch this movie, and so I didn't. And then I was bored one day, and I started watching this movie, and I couldn't get my eyes off this movie.
It is a beautiful train wreck.
It is bizarre, crazy. Excuse me, just conglomeration of all kind of everything, and yet I liked it just a touch more, than John Wick.
Wow.
But I must admit, I like The Accountant as much as John Wick.
The Accountant didn't make my top 5 because the story's a little convoluted for me. It's just it's a little not all there, but everything about that movie is very precise, and Ben Affleck did an amazing job with all the production, with bringing that character into a real limelight, and taking the what some people might say as mental instabilities of a character and really making them a strong suit.
Gave autism a whole new dynamic.
Ooh, yeah, dude.
Okay. Well, are you guys looking forward to any movies that are coming up? I'm looking forward to.
Can we back it up just for a second?
Karen, does Karen have another movie?
I've got a guilty pleasure that I just have to throw out there, which
Guilty
you're
pleasures.
going
I like this.
You're going to find very surprising that this is coming from me.
What?
It's 2016. You gotta get out there.
It'll never make the list. It'll never make anybody's list of best movies, but it's a guilty pleasure nonetheless.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yes. Two guilty pleasures actually are what I have. Thank you for the sound effects.
One is Quick Draw McGraw.
No, it's not.
The other's Return
make
of
a
Quick Draw
movie.
McGraw.
They did not make a movie this year. Otherwise, that would have been on my list. No.
Of course it would have been. It's your favorite star.
No, my first guilty pleasure, you're going to find this very odd, is a movie called London Has Fallen.
Oh.
With Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler and
Aaron Sorkin.
And this is surprising to me. I'm sorry, I have to interject. This is surprising to me because Morgan Freeman's in both of them.
Well, I hate Morgan Freeman with a white hot fury.
But
Wait.
But yet, yes, she said it.
I do.
And we won't get into that because
continue.
it's a whole other show.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we
have to
can't
do that on the
continue
after
this.
show, Steve. But
Okay.
But Lynette and I were talking about this series of films the other day. I'm hoping they make a third one.
Me too.
I didn't I mean, Olympus Has Fallen, the first movie was okay. I really liked London Has Fallen more for some reason. I'm not sure why. Like I said, it's a totally guilty pleasure because I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's formulaic. It's, you know who the good guys are, you know who the bad guys are, you know how it begins, you know how it's going to end. And yet I've
Sarah
seen
Butler
it at
Mason.
least twice, and I just was riveted. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was London, and I've always wanted. I've never been to London. I'd love to visit the city, and especially since the whole city's being torched. Watching that, the sound effects and Gerard Butler is really compelling. Is like the
Cool
good
dude.
guy who is just gonna leave no stone unturned to protect the president and stuff like. I don't know. It was, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure.
It is.
It was like one of the most enjoyable films for me of this year.
Yeah,
And my second guilty pleasure was another film that you'd never find on anybody's best of list, but it's a movie called San Andreas.
With The Rock?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
I've seen that movie at least 4 times, if
What?
not more. Yeah.
It's not going to make anybody's top 5, but it is a decent film.
But it's like, it's a guilty pleasure. What can I say? I have like this secret hankering for like disaster movies. I don't know why, but I do. So it's like if the movie stars an earthquake, a volcano, a typhoon, a tornado, I'm there. And and then Rock, he was like the wounded, first responder who has to single-handedly save his family, and I'm a sucker for that. And like the helicopter and things blowing up, and
not to mention the great Paul Giamatti.
Not to mention, well, Paul was, I think, phoning it in a little bit, but
Paul shows up to every movie as the exact same character.
Right? It's like, come on, Paul. It's like,
and I love his dedication to himself.
He whispers everything. Well, the earthquake is going to happen. It's happening now. It's going to happen right now. There'll be like the pause, and then
he'll look this way. He'll look this way. Looking that way.
Right.
He'll say, so you think that if we just stand here, then it's just going to be okay? Well, it's not. It's not going to be okay.
You've got to get out of here. You've got to get out of here now. So that's what he does. That's his shtick. He does the same thing in Billions. It's the same thing.
It's insane. It's insane how many Paul Giamatti movies I like.
In Big Mama's House.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, I can't believe he was in that poor excuse for cinematic disaster. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, guilty pleasure for that. And I have one more thing to say while I'm on my soapbox, while I have the stage. Just generally speaking, for me, 2016, I think the movie industry has got its work cut out for it. Okay, I think when I looked over the list of films, some list of films that sort of purported to mention all the films that were released in 2016, a lot of which I had not heard of because they were independent, they were filmed in other countries or whatever. But I have to say, the bar is set pretty high now for me to want to go to the movies. And the fact that in this year, there were a number of movies starring quote unquote A-list actors that bombed. And I do mean with a huge turd at the box office. The fact that you've got that scenario going on, I think sort of exemplifies what the movie industry is up against. I'm sorry. The movies are competing with incredible television, with incredible cable offerings. Netflix is really bringing it. They are bringing it to the table. And even Amazon, although I don't like their properties nearly as much as Netflix is, they're still trying to bring it. And so when I can look at compelling, like when I can binge watch Luke Cage, or when I can see like a made for TV movie on HBO that's really compelling, like All the Way, the movie about LBJ. it's going to take a hell of a lot to get me to go to a movie theater and put up with the smacking of the gum, the chomping of the popcorn, the light from the texting, the yapping from the cell phones, the jabbering from the idiots next door to me who don't know how to be quiet through a movie, and the 50 minutes of freaking commercials. I mean, I've already paid $20 to walk into the movie theater. It's going to take a lot for me to say, yeah, I'm going to put up with all that crap to sit through this movie. They're not bringing it, because I'm telling you, there have only been a few movies where I felt like it was worth it to sit through that crap. To see a movie. Otherwise, I'll just wait. I'll just wait for it to come out on cable. I'll just wait for it to come out through Google Play or iTunes or whatever, and I'll rent it, or Amazon. I'll just rent it. I can wait. I can seriously wait. And that's what the movie industry is dealing with. And it's going to take a lot to get people like me back in the movie theater. So far, they're not doing nearly enough. That's all.
I can see that.
Crickets.
End of rant.
Crickets.
I mean, I can understand. Me being a comic book fan, there's so many movies that I could look forward to this coming year. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I absolutely just adored the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I felt every character was played perfectly.
Chris Pratt.
And Chris Pratt, I really feel like that took Chris Pratt into his own of this is the guy that we can back in a movie and it'll go places.
Yeah, and I thought he did much better job in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I think it really propelled, as you alluded to, his career more prevalently than did Jurassic Park, for example.
Right. Yeah, correct.
And I loved him in The Magnificent Seven. So
yeah, me too.
I really like him, period, as an actor. So I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy too.
I did go to the movie
movie
Magnificent Seven, by the way.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. The other movie that's really going to get me in the theater that I really want to see, and I have no idea. I am walking in with a clean slate, and I am not expecting anything out of this movie, and I hope it blows me away, is I want to go see Wonder Woman.
Yes! That was one of my movies.
I want to go see Wonder Woman. This is our first 100% female lead superhero.
Not just that. Did you? Well, I'm assuming. I'm gonna be an idiot and assume here that you saw Batman versus Superman, I presume.
Yes.
And the best part of that whole film was Wonder Woman.
The best part of the movie is her.
Totally. She commanded the whole. Every moment. It's just like Karen was saying about Lupita Nyong'o in Queen of Katwe.
Right.
Every moment she was in the film, because she wasn't throughout the whole movie, but every moment she was in the film, she was a force to be reckoned with. And at the most pivotal part of the film, she stole the show.
Mm-hmm.
Her exploits and her abilities and the way that she moved through the film, it was like that was really Wonder Woman. I mean, that was really Wonder Woman. And she was captivating as this superhero. I believed her more than I believed Superman and Batman.
And I'm hoping this movie delivers in such a way that it would be easier and it would be more accessible for us to see more female lead superheroes.
I think that's going to happen anyway.
I feel like it's going to happen anyway, but she's going to be the bar. This is going to be. Are they going to set the bar low with this movie? Or are they going to set this bar stupidly high with this movie? It's one thing that, and I feel like this movie needs to be a goal for female action leads.
This movie, I've seen like multiple trailers for this movie, purposely, because from what I can see, they're setting it high. DC is really going to combat Marvel in this case. because they've got the right actress at the right time who looks like she's going to be stellar. Now she's going to be opposite, or I should say, who's going to be opposite her is going to be Chris Pine, and he's shown that he's been a pretty decent actor over time. But he's there for the relief because it's her movie. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and she's a decent enough actress to pull it off anyway. But the physicality in this film and the things that she's doing, it's believable. And it's hard for a superhero to be believable. So without a whole bunch of pomp and circumstance, and I think this is that was one of the movies I was going to mention too, Steve. So it's good that you mentioned it, and I agree with you.
Karen, would this movie be something that you'd be willing to go see if somebody, maybe not opening night, but something that somebody came to you and said this really set a standard?
Absolutely. Because I really think women have just been so badly underrepresented, especially in terms of lead, and especially in the comic book verse. Women, sort of setting the agenda. You don't see that very often. Women are like, the helpmates or the secretaries or the assistants, like Pepper with Iron Man or whatever. I would like to see a woman sort of taking the lead. So yeah, I would definitely go see Wonder Woman, and supported by going to see it the first weekend it was out.
Yeah, I think this is that movie. So I agree with you, Steve. I thought that was a great choice.
Good. What would your other movie be?
It's a movie that I've only heard about recently, and let me bring up this visual for myself here to say who's actually in this movie. The name of the movie is a very simple name, and it's a 2017 film for sure. The name of the movie is Life. Fiction thriller. It has Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, Rebecca Ferguson. They're the primary stars of the film. And the essence of the film is there's this international space crew discovers life on Mars. But what they discover is life is not what they thought it would be.
Huh.
Ruh-roh.
Yes, that ruh-roh is perfect for what happens.
I mean, just saying it just like that does interest me. Yeah.
I was watching the trailer for it. I was like, oh, this is really, whoa.
I'm going to have to watch the trailer.
And that's when it all hits the fan.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman. I'm looking forward to Life.
I'm looking forward to John Wick 2, but I digress.
And also John Wick 2. Most definitely. Seen the trailer for that too. Bingo!
Oh my God!
Bingo for 2.
Well, I'm looking forward to 2 movies. One which you've already heard me talk about, and other people have talked about because it's coming out. It's sort of out in limited release, but it's going to be in wide release next week, and that's Hidden Figures.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Can't wait to go see that movie. I'm just so incredibly interested in how this movie turns out, and I just love the fact that somebody finally told this untold true story about these women who contributed to so much to the NASA mission. So I can't wait to see that. But I'm also really looking forward to Star Wars Episode 8.
Yeah, I've seen Rogue One, and I enjoyed it. I didn't like the ending because, and I'm not going to spoil this because I know Steve's.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing it on Tuesday.
Okay, I didn't enjoy the ending, but not because of a bad thing. But the movie itself, I thought was entertaining, so I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I can't think of a whole. I remember listening to a news report saying that 2017 is going to be the year of sequels. You know, you've got The Equalizer 2. You've got, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You've got
John Wick
Alien
2.
Covenant. You've got Pitch Perfect 3. You've got John Wick Chapter 2. You've got Cars 3. I mean, all these movies are coming out next year. So, fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a bumpy sequel.
Yeah. But I think there's going to be some really good films out there. So I look forward to what's coming. You, Steve?
Say what?
You look forward to what's coming?
Oh, I am so looking forward. I'm looking at a list right now and just being like, okay, wow, want to see that, want to see that, want to see that, want to see that.
Share at least a couple of them.
There's quite a few that I'll see. Might not be a lot that I suggest to people because I got a reputation to maintain.
What? Oh, yeah, that's true. All right. Remember,
Pirates
Oh,
of the
man.
Caribbean
Well-
coming in yet another sequel of that. Oh my God, that's
Hey.
probably going to be horrible.
The resurgence of Kong.
Train
You know
Spotting
what?
2, really?
Kong
which is
Skull Island.
interesting. Which is interesting from a Godzilla guy. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think that might actually be decent. I don't know.
Well,
I've only seen one trailer.
Well,
About the new Kong movie.
you know what the plan is.
What
What's
the
the
plan
We've
is.
had Godzilla. Now we've got Kong. Then we're gonna have Godzilla 2 in 2020. Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, you're right. Good point. There was a
Again.
song from the cartoon way back in the
I
day
mean,
about King Kong. What was it?
mhm.
King Kong, you know the name of King Kong. You
Oh,
know the
oh, yeah, yeah,
name
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
King Kong, 10 times as big as all man. Very good
But
stuff.
that is a movie I will walk into with like a negative bar set and see where that gets me.
Okay. Well, it can only get you hopefully up.
It can only go up from there.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
Lord.
We shall see.
Ugh.
We shall see.
Talk about handicapping a movie.
You know what? I want it to do well. I want comic book movies to do well. I want monster
I do too.
movies of the kind of Godzilla and Kong to do well. I want those to do well because they catered to a certain type of people for a long time, and now they're movies for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
it makes me proud it makes me proud that it's not just the nerds in the corner reading their comic books. It's not just the kids playing games that really just don't fit in with the normal crowd. It's everybody that is enjoying
Mhm.
these movies. And I really feel and it's everybody that's going out to read comics. It's not just those guys that were the geeks, the nerds, everybody who got picked on. It's everybody is doing these things now, and it's just a facet of life that's moving forward the way it should.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess everything has become universal.
Yes.
If you
And-
way to maybe surmise it.
And people get to appreciate it the way some of us appreciated it way
Mhm.
back when, before anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good point.
Stuff. Very good point. Well, kids, I don't know about you, but the audience and I are thinking, hey, what a great show.
So good.
But it's time to go. Any final words before we get out of here?
You mean it's past time to go?
No, it's time to go.
It's like
Oh.
it's like the song from the 50s. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go.
Anybody out there who happens to be going out tomorrow night, doing anything kind of outrageous or just normal, spending time with the family, going to watch fireworks, be safe, be careful, and
Be sober.
well, not necessarily be sober, just make good decisions. Stay where
Right.
you're at. Sleep on a couch.
Right.
Take care.
Or
And
designated
Don't
enjoy
drive,
the new
don't
year.
drive in less sober. I'll
Yeah.
just put it that way.
And enjoy the new year. 2017 can only get better because 2016's been a bit rough for all of us.
Yes, it has.
Well, okay, I hope it gets better.
Well,
Hey,
I'm a
positive thoughts.
faithful-
Positive
I'm a-
thoughts for the new year.
I'm a faithful person. I believe in faith. And with my faith, I go with God. And I'm looking for the blessings and the gifts of the new year.
So
Okie dokie.
that's all I got to say is
So I'm going to say
be
Happy
safe,
New
be
Year.
careful, and go out there and support these movies we've talked about today, and then support the movies that are coming in the future. Support these actors that have been around for a long time and that might not be here with us very much longer, and really celebrate them.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
And
Good point.
And please, send us suggestions for topics you'd like to hear on A Real Point of View, or, if you have comments on our comments, as long as they're polite and nice.
Keep it clean.
And, yes, as long as they're like that, then please feel free to weigh in. We'd love to hear from you out there in the movieverse.
Yes, indeed. We try to keep it PG here. We have our moments, but we try to keep it PG. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
Karen.
I have my moments.
PG,
Yeah, Karen.
PG, PG is what we're striving for.
Yeah, I say that, and I'm the one that brought up Deadpool.
I did say the word strive.
Right.
Well, from all of us here at A Real Point of View, Happy New Year. And thanks again for joining us. And we hope that you'll join us much more in the coming year as we too try to grow our business and make it even more palatable and much more informative for you in 2017. Thanks again, everybody, and have a good night.
Night.
Bye.